Hey there, and welcome to this course on Sor's Opus 44, Etude No.1. What we're going to use this for is a study for the two arpeggio patterns IMA and AMI. And so first off, what we're going to do in this video is talk about those two basic primary arpeggio patterns, and then also take a look at the overall lay of the land within the piece. So to start with, let's just get started with these two arpeggio patterns. So first off, IMA, I'm just going to do them on the top three strings right here. When we play an IMA pattern, that's IMA, we start with the index finger on the string. So I is on the string. When I plays, the M and the A both come out together, prepare on the string. And then the M plays by itself, and then the A plays by itself. If we were going to loop this, the A would alternate with the I, and that would happen at the same time. Now what this also includes, IMA, is PIMA, which is a very common pattern. It's one that we'll see in here quite a lot as well. And the way to do that, pardon my big patchwork thumbnail here, is that the thumb prepares by itself. When the thumb plays, the I comes out and prepares by itself. When the I plays, the M and the A come out together. And then if we were just going to repeat it, then the thumb would alternate with the A. Now when we get really fast with this, it turns into more of, it turns into a bit of a roll. But when we're doing it slow like this and just being very intentional with our arpeggio shapes, then we can just go one finger at a time and say exactly what we're going to do. Now the AMI pattern is the exact opposite. A starts on the string. When the A plays, the M and the I come out and prepare. M plays by itself, I plays, and then alternates with whatever else plays. Now one of the things that we're going to see within this is that the IMA and AMI pattern might go over the bar line, and then they also might connect with some alternation afterwards or connect with each other. So if it's going to alternate, let's say, we have the IMA, MA. So we have I, M, A. Now when the A plays, we want to alternate back with the M. And then when the M plays, we want to alternate back with the A. We have an intention and a method for every single note. So we know exactly what's going to go on. This might seem a little bit anal to do it on this level, but it becomes really what's the word? Intuitive, that's the word. It becomes more intuitive the more that you do it. And then whenever you have some big piece, if you're playing a Bach partita or something like that, that is just jam-packed where every single measure has issues, has problems, then your ability to work on this type of level comes in massively useful. Otherwise, you're just going to be sitting there pawing at it, the cat paw, and just swiping at the strings, and then you'll be greatly limited in your headspace as far as speed and clarity and solidity and all this. Also, this has a finger on the string at all times doing it this way. So it's very much more solid. If you have any sort of performance anxieties or anything like that, this helps with that because it keeps you grounded on the string without having to anchor, which is what a lot of people want to do whenever they get nervous, is anchor and hug the guitar, and this will help with that as well. But that's just the primary arpeggios in general doing that. So let's now take a look at the piece proper. So here we have the piece. If you'll notice, all of the right-hand fingerings are written in here. For better or for worse, every single note has a fingering on it. Now sometimes, like this right here, you're going to have an option of two different fingerings, and we'll talk about that as we get to that particular point. But I also want to point out here, and I know this is really small in here, these numbers in the boxes. And these correspond to practice sections, and it also will tell you the layout of this section. So if we look up at the practice sections, then it's just one little section with a double bar at the end. And this is, so the piece is divided up, I've divided the piece up into these small phrases, and they're pretty much 4 bars a piece. And this is how we'll work through the piece, is going through this. Within this, you can take as much time as you need to really master the right hand. This is a right hand study. I mean, there are left hand issues with it as well, but mainly if you're playing this, I would recommend doing it as a right hand study. Well, a couple of these sections actually repeat as well. So there are only 5 different practice sections with a 3A and a 3B. Why 3A and B? It's because they are mostly the same, but then they end a little bit differently, and they're right here, 3A, and then down at the end we have 3B. And number 1 as well is repeated. So we have 1 here, and then we have 1 again down here. So most of this point, from this point on, is repeated with the exception of the end right here. So it's a little bit of a freebie. Quick note, if you are not as good of a note reader and prefer the tab, that is included in your practice packet, but for this course we'll just be using the notation because it fits on my screen better. So use the tab if you'd like to. We'll be using the notation here. With that said, let's jump right in. I'll see you in section 1.